on, devil dog.
Not happy.
All right. The monster outside is trying to get in.
Put off the Wi-Fi on your fan.
Yep. Disconnect from Wi-Fi. Good evening, everyone. If you are just tuning in, this is our little pre-show. We will get things rolling in just a couple minutes. Let's see. Oh, Natalie is there. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Okay, so there's that, and then volume. Actually, I'm going to go into full-on Do Not Disturb mode.
Tony, your headphones are off.
Off my head? Oh.
No, I mean, they were turned off over here, so make sure I put a good sound for you.
2 minutes, folks.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay. What did you just do? Oh, you just turned the audio off. Roof.
She says, I know what your topic is. I should be included.
Yeah, exactly. The topic about our horrible dog. Stephanie Schrader is there. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome. All right. We got 3 awesome viewers right now. Unfortunately, I think Stephanie is one of them. I'm probably another one, and you're probably the 3rd one. Oh, no, William Trumbull. Oh, you're getting stuff quicker than I'm getting them on my phone. It's probably because I'm on data.
There's Karen Knight Lane.
Hello, Karen. Welcome back. Nice to see you again. I need some yellow underneath your paper there, Tony, sir.
Some yellow?
I need some Post-its so we can get these names in the fart jar. Actually, what I'll do is write them on one, and then Sam we'll do it during the credits. So we got Stephanie Schrader. S-H-R-A-D-E-R. I'm going to put the headphones on because it's awfully weird in here. Oh, now I can hear the smooth jazz. And William Trumbull. And I'm just going to put KKL because I know who KKL is. There's about 6 different people that I just put their initials in there. Huh? It is time. All right. So go ahead and let's go to me. Hello, everyone. We're just about ready to start our show. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Before we get started, I always do a little pre-show intro to kind of let you know what's going on. But before I even do that, I want to talk real quick. Tonight's episode is being dedicated to Lexi Taylor Carlson, friend of our co-host Natalie Smith. Natalie brought it to my attention about a week ago that she's battling cancer, and she unfortunately passed away yesterday. I've been kind of keeping a close eye on the thing. Earlier, I posted in the page a GoFundMe link that's being put together for funeral stuff. Those of you who are watching this, if you're part of the haunt community, and you can spare a couple of bucks, please jump on there, help them out, because that's what our community is all about. She was a member, makeup artist, and also a haunt enthusiast, and let's just have this haunt community come together and show some support. So we're going to kick this off with the credits in just 1 second, but just to let you know what we're going to be talking about. We are talking about werewolves. We're going to talk a little bit about the origins of them, werewolves in history, how they've affected pop culture, and we're going to discuss a little bit about whether they could be real or not. We're also going to talk about haunt etiquette. We got like 1 week before Halloween comes. This is actually going to be our last episode before Halloween, and we definitely want to address some haunt etiquette things. So those of you that are watching this that are thinking about going to a haunt, you're going to want to stay tuned so you kind of know what to expect and what the rules are. We also have another mask that we're going to be giving away on the Plinko board. So someone who calls in, fart jar drawings, lots of fun stuff, artist spotlight. It's going to be a fun show. So that being said, let's go ahead and start this show up.
Do you You know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
Them! They're coming! They're coming! They mostly come at night. Mostly. I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
They're here.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Now clear your mind. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane? She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
There is nothing to worry about.
I'm your #1 fan.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos or create us.
Listen, asshole!
No, you listen, you little bitch.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! We have such sights to show you.
What's in the box?
The box. You opened it. We came.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I see dead people.
You know, it's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment. No sense worrying about it now. Why worry? Each of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monster Vision. I am your host, Uncle Monster, and today we have a little bit of a skeleton crew. Hey, hon, let's go ahead and show them the skeleton crew. Hey, they're sitting over there. Actually, TC and Natalie are out this evening. They had other other gigs they had to do, so they couldn't be here. However, joining me in studio this evening, freshly back from Hawaii, is Mr. Tony Garrison, our paranormal enthusiast. Hi, Tony. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. It's good to have you back. You look like you got some color to yourself.
A lot of sun out there.
Yeah.
A lot of sun. Yeah, I've got to, it's the first time to Hawaii, so I got to see the beaches, and I avoided the poi on your recommendation.
Yes.
And missed opportunity for a luau, which, story for another
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, you told me about that one. So.
But, good time, and glad to be back here hanging out with you guys.
Well, I'm glad to have you back, especially tonight, because of the subject matter is something I think both of us like a lot. And then, of course, running the computer here at Mission Control is my lovely wife, Sam, which was very worried about last week that she accidentally cut it off before the end of the credits, but it turns out she didn't. She did a great job. And even though she is not a computer person, she's doing a wonderful job at the computer. So before we get fully into this real quick, I want to give out a couple of quick plugs. First off, if you live anywhere near Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto kind of area, you want to make sure you go check out Higbee Horror Haunt in Modesto. There is the address is in the description of the video, not the comments, but the description. Give them a check out. We actually went out there to film something, and we talked about it in the last episode. Something happened with the camera or something, I don't know, but it like corrupted all the files on the card, so I couldn't extract it, which really sucked because they're really great people. So get out there and go visit Higbee Horror Haunt. Also, our co-star TC Morgan has got a gig going on at the Classy Hippy Tea Room or Tea Company, I'm not sure, Tea House, on Halloween night. So they're doing a Halloween show. If you have the availability, check it out. If you have the availability, check that out as well. Links are also in the description. Natalie, doing makeup for Halloween, she still has some appointments available. So if you'd like to have her do your makeup for any Halloween parties or anything like that you got coming up, please make sure you also click on her link, reach out to her, and try to book something as soon as possible, because every day that goes by, there's less and less chance that you can get her to do your makeup and stuff. So. Also, again, as I said, this will be our last episode before Halloween, so we'll address that a little bit, but we will be back on October 40th for our next episode, and for those of you who are not Halloween fanatics, that's November 9th, so for the rest of us, it's October 40th. Between now and then, however, we're not just going to disappear. We will be throwing out the voting polls for the Tournament of Terror. We worked out those last 8 movies. We've got everything just about all set for that, including the board. Every time you vote on one of those, it's going to be an entry into the fart jar, so you have a chance to win a prize. And the next episode, we will actually go through the first round nominations and see who battled who won, what moves on to the next level and stuff. So, those of you who are members of the Monster Vision fan club got a little peek of an upcoming game that we're going to be launching also within the next couple of episodes. It's going to be Monster Vision Clue. And just like the classic game of Clue, we're going to be showing some cards that are going to be, it's basically you're going to play the game Clue with us, and you'll be calling in to say, I think it was Colonel Mustard in the library with a wrench, and we'll do a process elimination, and someone will win a mask by playing Clue. Now, the thing with the game is you're going to want to make sure that you are following the Uncle Monsters page, the Monster Vision page, TC's page, as well as Natalie's and all the social medias, because a couple of times each week they're going to give away clues as to which suspects it is not. We will have a little thing that you can actually print out at home so you can keep track of all the clues that have been given, and then if you're the one who calls in and has the actual right combination, you'll be winning a mask. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right, so last episode review was phenomenal. There was a point where we had over 500 live viewers, which was really cool. Within a couple hours of the end of the broadcast, we had over 16,000 views. I think it shows that people out there are starting to kind of understand what we're trying to do here with, giving exposure to artists and just having a good time. And I'm expecting that we're not going to get anywhere near it on this show. This is the last weekend before Halloween. I expect it's going to be pretty low on the viewership, and that's perfectly fine. When we come back after Halloween and everyone's kind of in their post-Halloween depression, I think that's when this is really going to start to take off, because we're going to carry this all year long. It'll give you that little Halloween shot in the arm to kind of keep you in the spirit until we get all the way through to October 365, and then we can start back over at October 1st. So let's see. Okay, on personal notes, last Sunday, after the show that we did, I woke up the next morning and I actually had to go to the emergency room. I was having a constricted chest, difficulty breathing, rapid heart rate, all kinds of stuff. Wasn't completely sure if I was having a heart attack or if there's something going on. For a while, I thought that I was hypoglycemic, and this didn't go away with eating, so I ended up having to go to the emergency room, and it turns out I guess I am prone to anxiety attacks, is what the doctor basically kind of said it was.
You sure it's not possession?
It could be demonic possession. I don't know. I mean, the working a day job as well as doing this show as well as doing masks, and
it's more economic possession. Being
a husband and being a dad, and I think maybe it just kind of got to me too much. But it's kind of funny though, because I woke up having this anxiety attack and there was nothing on my mind. But even the doctor said that you can have anxiety attacks without even having an idea of what it's about. It can be something that's buried in your subconscious that whatever just kind of throws you for a loop. So, so if you are someone who suffers from anxiety, make sure you see your doctor and, get stuff sorted out and stuff. So,
don't make it so your wife has to beg you to go to the hospital. Don't do that to them.
It also may have been something to do with the fact that I was scheduled to appear on Good Day Sacramento, which was supposed to have happened before the last episode, and that kind of fell apart on their part. However, I was featured on Good Day Sacramento this past week, and it was actually really cool. I don't like to use this show to try to market myself and toot my own horn, because that's not the purpose of it. The purpose here is to actually toot other people's horns. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to run the clip from Good Day Sacramento, and then we'll talk a little bit about why I think you artists out there that are watching this show should try to do the same thing. So, Sam, let's go ahead and run that Good Day clip.
A man who calls himself Uncle Monster makes high-quality masks and other monster-related products.
So cool. Kimby Brown has a look. Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
Are you in there? That he has created. that is available for purchase. The attention to detail that Uncle Monster has is incredible. So we're going to walk you through exactly how he makes something like this. First of all, let me transform back into Reporter Candy instead of Monster Candy. So now, you guys start off with this mold, and I say you guys, but really, Uncle Monster, it's just you who's making these. First of all, how long does it take to make these?
The average sculpt can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to several months to do. This one here I've been working on for about 6 months now.
Wow, and you can see all of the attention to detail here, and he heats up the clay right over here behind us, and then starts sculpting it to be able to make what is going to be a mold, right? And in fact, if we walk you right outside the shed here, there is an area where you're able to then make it into a latex mold?
Yep. Everything gets made into a plaster mold, and then from that plaster mold we do a latex casting, and the casting will give us some blanks like what we have hanging up here.
Yeah, now if they look a little bit bigger, that's because when you start off with the plaster mold, once the latex gets on it, it can make a little bit smaller.
Correct. Yeah, the latex does shrink.
Okay, and this, I mean, you can see, even without it being painted, just how intricate it is, and he goes off of his own designs to be able to make this. And so then, once it becomes this, that's when he starts the painting process, which you can see over here. These are some of the completed versions. What are you using to paint these with?
They're actually base coated with a rubber cement paint that's mixed with oil paints, and then after that everything is airbrushed with acrylic inks, and then there's a lot of different washes that go on.
Now, you have been very busy because people want the best of the best. They're not trying to get those masks that they can get, at one of those corporate stores, right? Because these are going to be all unique and different. And you said even if you use the same mold, you try and paint them a little bit differently. So now you're sort of getting into the time where you can relax, you would think. But instead, you say winter time. What do you do the most of during winter?
During the winter is when I spend most of my time sculpting. It's a little too cold to be casting masks, so I won't be casting again until around spring. And then we also do a every other week live show with a couple other hosts who come in here.
Yeah, I want to show you that too, because he has a really cool setup here that he does. So not only does he do a show on Facebook Live, but then he also wants to help people because you are self-taught. And so you when you started getting into this, you were not able to find other people who could help you learn how to do something like this. And so you want to be the person that can help people, which is kind of you, because you're making money off of this. I mean, it's a side hustle, but you do make money.
Yep, and there's a lot of other talented artists that are out there. We like to show them up on our shows so that people can see who these people are all over the world and stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
If people are interested and they want to find out more about you, what is the website and what's the name of the show, all of that, so they can find you?
My website is UncleMonstersPlace.com, and you can find me on Facebook, Uncle Monsters Decaffeinated Designs, and we actually have a show coming up this Saturday where we're going to talk about werewolves, and we will also be giving away another mask.
Okay, perfect. I love that. The masks range in price from about $150 to $250, depending on how intricate they are. Guys?
Cool.
So I have a feeling Jordan over there's already.
Oh, yeah,
Jordan's probably right now.
Alrighty. I got my request. Next Halloween.
I want to be Cousin Monster. That was cool. The music of George Michael.
So there you have it. That was my not even 15 minutes worth of fame. That was about 3.5 minutes, I think, worth of fame. But I'll tell you, it's actually a really good thing to do. Good Day Sacramento is not unique just to Sacramento. They've got those kind of shows that are all over the place, the funny, lighthearted kind of news shows and whatnot. If you are an artist, face painter, mask maker, something like that, I highly recommend that you get out there and contact those news things, especially this time of year. It might be a little late this time, but think about it for next year, because it's a great way to market and spread your name around and get some notice and stuff. Plus, if you do that and you've got a clip that's saved on YouTube, send the link to me and we'll run it in one of our episodes and get your name even out there more, because again, our goal is to try to help get exposure to as many artists as possible. So now also last week we had David Head from Utah, actually was a call-in person who played our Plinko game, and he won a mask, and he was very excited about it, and we got his mask mailed off, and he actually was so cool that he filmed an unboxing, and I want to share this again. I don't want this to come off as though I'm tooting my own horn, but I will discuss why I'm sharing this in a moment. So let's go ahead and let's run with that unboxing clip.
On Uncle Monster and gang. So I just received my mask in the mail today, and I have been so excited for this. So let's try and open it up. I am elated. Thank you so much again. I still can't believe I won this. So yeah, I gotta get this open. Alright, so let's get this real quick. I didn't think it would take too long to get here from California to here. Usually only a couple of days shipping, but so it usually gets pretty quick, and I'm glad it did because I couldn't wait any longer. All right, so it's got a letter here. Yeah, so I'm gonna say this for me to read, and let's get this beauty out real quick. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. Oh wow. Holy crap. Yeah, you weren't kidding when you said in person it is even better, and of course I didn't doubt you whatsoever. Just from what I could see from the video, it was incredible. And oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You are amazing. Oh man. The detail is insane. Oh, brother, you are a phenomenal artist. This is beautiful. Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, this is absolutely my prized possession in my horror collection. Oh, my gosh. Dude, you are phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. And, yeah, I am in horrible lighting as well. And it's not going to do it any justice either, but oh my gosh. Oh, dude, you are incredible. Yeah. I looked on your website and saw your pictures of your journey making these and the molds and for this, and I can't believe you were saying that you thought it was a decent job. This is amazing, man. You're incredible. This is beyond decent. This is insane. Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, you're phenomenal. Thank you so much. This is absolutely my favorite horror piece that I have. Wow, I am absolutely blown away and so grateful, and still can't believe I won this. And it's so much better in person and absolutely amazing. Dude, you are an artist. You keep up the good work, and I am going to be posting this and sharing the crap out of it with my friends and getting more people to come and join us on your Facebook page. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, there you have it. Okay, so he gushed a little more than I feel comfortable with, because I will be the first one to tell you that I'm not as good as he thinks I am, but I really, truly appreciate it. I'm glad that he loves it. The reason I actually wanted to share that clip was because for those of you who are watching this that are buyers, whether you buy from me or you buy from someone else, that kind of reaction makes doing this 100% worth doing it all. When you see someone that's that happy with something that you created, man, it makes you feel so good. So those of you who are buyers from whoever you buy, make sure you let the people know how you feel about their stuff, because nothing makes you feel better than when you see something like that. So again, David Head, thanks for joining us, and congratulations, and I'm so glad that you like it. So all right. Okay, so in a little bit, we're going to talk about haunt venue etiquette, because I keep on seeing those posts coming across Facebook that have all of those kind of rules and whatnot. And if you're thinking about going out to a haunt, let's talk before you go so you kind of know what you're getting into. But before we do that, we are going to talk about werewolves. My favorite animal. In episode 1, we interviewed Alan Hops. And also, it's one of his favorite monsters as well. I think he's a favorite among a lot of us. But before we dive into that, I think we need to do a fart jar drawing, because there's some people out there who would like to see a prize. So, Tony, can you hand me the jar? I'll do the drawing this time around. This first drawing is going to be for a coffee mug. Any coffee mug that's in our merch store. All right. So what I'll do is I'll come back here a bit. So here's our fart jar, the fan appreciation, recognition, and thanks. There's lots of different ways that you can get your name in this. Number 1, if you tune in early for our show and you're there before the credits, we put you in there. So there's a few new entries. If you're very active in sharing and commenting and liking, and we start to recognize your name a lot, you end up in here. There's just lots of ways. We're going to mix it all up right now. And I'm just going to pluck one off the top. Oops, I got a few there. We'll take that one. All right, so now the way this works is I'm going to read this name, and whoever this is has until 8 p.m. tomorrow to reach out to me via Facebook Messenger and send me a message that says, hey, I was watching the episode and you drew my name and I won the prize. We pay for the shipping. We pay for everything. We get it out to you. So, again, this will be for a coffee mug of your choice, and this is going to go to Mr. Curtis Prim, Sylvania. I know who you are. I know who all my friends are. So, Curtis, if you're watching the show or you watch it tomorrow or whatnot, Facebook Messenger, not through the Uncle Monsters page, through my personal one, because the Uncle Monster one sometimes takes forever to come across. So, Curtis Prim will be sending you a coffee mug to drink your coffee out of. So, we will talk with you, I'm sure, tomorrow morning. All right, now let's get on to the meat of this episode, werewolves. I would love to see people just start hammering on the heart button or the thumbs up button if you are also a fan of werewolves. So start triggering that thing, and let's talk a little bit about werewolves. Tony?
Or if there's a werewolf story, are they allowed to call in?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you've seen a werewolf or you haven't had an encounter with a werewolf or whatnot, then absolutely call in and let's hear what you have to say. So, what do you think, Tony? Are you a fan of werewolves?
Well, a fan, yeah. I don't think we've talked about this before. I don't think they exist.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you like werewolf movies? I know you don't like scary movies, but
I'm not allowed to mention my favorite werewolf movie. But
go ahead, Tony. Say it for all the world to hear.
All right, I'm Team Jacob. But yeah, it's they got an interesting history. So I think they had a lot to what.
Don't worry, everyone. Before you start blowing up, I have already confiscated his man card, so it's all good, guys.
But no, I think they definitely add a lot to the horror genre that I like them better than vampires.
Bedazzled.
And definitely better than zombies. So.
Bedazzled vampires. So I will say, we'll get to the movie part of this later, but I'm just going to chime up right now and say my all-time favorite werewolf movie of all period, American Werewolf in London. Yeah. My all-time least liked werewolf movie of all time, American Werewolf in Paris. The sequel is horrible. Yeah. So, anyways, okay, so the history of werewolves. So, werewolves have actually been around as long as humans have been around. They're stories that go back to prehistoric times, that are in just about every culture all around the world. Native Americans have their legends of werewolf-type creatures, such as the skinwalker. They have similar things in Africa, and it's real interesting because if you really do the research and you look around, you find out that there are legends of a human werewolf, not a werewolf, but like were-tiger in India and stuff, were-lions in Africa. So it's something that's real deeply ingrained in the human, psyche from way back. The Navajo skinwalker, I think, is one of the most interesting ones, because the idea behind the skinwalker is the skinwalker would have been like maybe a shaman who started using magic for evil, and they become cursed into this form, and then from there they just become this horrifically horrible, murderous, cannibalistic, creature and stuff. So
we have a phone call.
Oh, we do have a phone call. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's take a phone call real quick. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hang up.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. Let's go ahead and let's mute the phone for right now, and we're not going to take callers till later. But anyways, now Tony did some research into the Greek/Roman myths of Romulus and Remus. I guess that's Roman more than Greek.
Yeah, that was I think Greek was definitely before then, with Lycaon. And when we were talking about it earlier, so you got Lycaon. That's the earliest, I think. Well, as far as I could tell, I know you said you pulled some earlier stuff.
Yeah, that's the one where it's the myth, and it's the story of Lycaon fed his own son to Zeus.
Yeah.
And then Zeus found out, and he cursed him and all of his offspring to be turned into wolves. Yep. Now, they weren't turned into werewolves where they transformed and stuff, but they were just transformed from men into wolves, and from their, but still it's a transformation kind of thing. And it addresses that human into wolf thing that is so deeply ingrained.
Some of the earlier stuff, was that more of, I know that you were finding, was that just, there no transformation at that point?
No. The really, really old legends, there's not really a whole talk about, they were either changed into it by by gods or whatnot, and they kind of stayed in that form. It wasn't like a back and forth. That actually didn't get popular until we got into the Middle Ages. But the Romulus and Remus, they were brothers, and Romulus was actually the founder of Rome. And the interesting thing is that's actually factual, historical record. However, the idea was that they suckled on a she-wolf. Yeah. They were the whole story is actually kind of interesting if you go in and read it. They were going to be killed for whatever, I can't remember the reason. So they were abandoned, and then they were adopted by a she-wolf, and then they rose to power, and both of them became great heroes and whatnot. But one of the things that I found with a lot of digging was that Romulus actually after he founded Rome, he took the people and divided them into 3 tribes, and one of those tribes, called the Lucernes, was rumored to be a tribe of werewolves. Either werewolves or wild men or something like that, but they were murderous, cannibalistic, all the traits that werewolves have in them, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So, however, when we got to the Middle Ages, that is when what we all recognize as kind of the more recognizable werewolf, the lycanthrope, kind of came about being, and it really started in Europe. Primarily kind of in the German area. I didn't even realize that werewolf is a German name, but it totally makes sense that it is now. And it actually coincided with a lot of the witch trials that took place at that same kind of time. One of the most famous ones, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this, Peter Stubb or Peter Stump. Now, I see his name appear both different ways, but I found one place that said that his name was actually Peter Stubb. However, he'd lost an arm or something like that, so he had a stump, so people called him Peter Stump. But whether that's true or not, I don't know. This guy had a 25-year reign of killing goats and cattle and sheep, lambs, all kinds of animals, just ripping them apart, eating them, all that kind of stuff. He also killed 14 children, and 2 pregnant women and actually ripped the fetuses out of them and ate them as well. He was summarily captured, and he confessed to all of this. Of course, his confession came after a fairly lengthy torture, and if you beat someone hard enough, I'm sure they're going to tell you whatever it is that you're wanting to hear.
I know we were talking about this before. I'm going to look into more of this. I've never heard of this. The Beast of Gavin. I'm going to mess it all up. Gavin Don. Yeah,
actually, there's a podcast that is hosted by the Cryptid Keepers. And they have a podcast on it, and they're great. A couple of girls, they're really fun to listen to. It's a comedy podcast. So their information, they don't super dive deep, but they did a story on that. And that's worth a listen to if you're watching this and you'd like to learn more.
Yeah, because that individual had 80 bodies. So 80 men, women, and children.
Yeah,
so
80? That's 80. A lot.
That's a lot
to eat.
Werewolfing.
Yeah. Well, Stump or Stub, this is an interesting little tidbit of trivia, was actually executed for his crimes on October 31st, 1589, and that will be exactly 430 years ago today. So not that it's like the 500-year mark or something, but 430 is a pretty round number. Not as good as 420, but... All right, so now, who out there knows how to become a werewolf? Most people will tell you, you get bit or scratched or whatnot in a werewolf attack and you become a werewolf. And that is, I guess, true if you want to go according to legend. But it turns out there's actually a whole bunch of different ways to become a werewolf. If you go back to Peter Stubb, he actually, in his confession, and remember, this was a confession under duress, claims that he met the devil. Another site claims that he claimed to have been the devil, but he was given a belt of wolf skin and leather that whenever he put that on, he would transform into a wolf. Now, some places call it a belt, some places call it a girdle, so I'm not sure, but it's something that goes around your waist and buckles or whatnot. And apparently it had the magic ability to turn him into a ravenous wolf, and that's when he would do his things. It does, however, note that no belt was ever found in his possession, nothing of that length. So it's very possible that the devil came along and scooped that up to go give it to someone else, I'm sure. Another common one is being cursed into it. The old story of the gypsy curse. You do the gypsies wrong, they will do their black magic on you and turn you into a werewolf, and therefore every time the moon turns full, you're cursed into this existence and stuff. Now, if there's a listener out there that can help me with this, because I think this might tie into something. I was a kid when I was watching Elvira, and they did a werewolf movie, and the only 2 parts of the movie I can seem to remember was a scene where the kid ran into the kitchen and hid behind some cupboards while the werewolf was looking for him, and the werewolf didn't find him. And then I believe there was another scene where the kid was in a bus, in a school bus. Maybe someone else was driving it, and the werewolf was outside, I think got on the roof or something. It has always bothered me what that movie was, because I don't remember it, but I'd love to watch it again. And I know it was like a 60s or 70s movie, so it's probably not all that great.
You're mixing Jurassic Park mixed with Jeepers Creepers.
No. I'm pretty sure those movies took that from this. So if you happen to know what that could be, throw it in the comments and let me know, because I really would like to go back and watch that movie and figure out what it was. So another supposed way of becoming a werewolf is if you happen to be the unlucky 7th son of a 7th son. Tony, you're not a 7th son of a 7th son, are you?
No, I'm the only son.
Yeah. Same here, so I guess we're both safe. We're not going to turn into a werewolf and stuff. Another one that was spoken about a lot was a magic salve that you would rub onto your body and rub onto your skin that would then make you transform. And I actually kind of wonder about that one. About perhaps it was a magic salve that was made with some kind of a dermally absorbable hallucinogenic, I mean, that might make sense. You rub this stuff on your skin, it absorbs, you start to have these hallucinations. You might think you're a werewolf. So I kind of wonder about that one. And then another one, and for those of you who really do want to become a werewolf, this might be the way you go about doing it. If you drink rainwater from a wolf print out in the forest. So there you go. Go find yourself some wolf prints, wait for a rainy day, and then there you go. You can become a werewolf. And you can go with Lauren Aaron here and join Team Jacob. Oh. So now another thing that actually is been studied and referenced to is right about the same time that the witch trials were going on, there was also werewolf trials. It was kind of hand in hand. There was a big outbreak of a fungus that grew on wheat known as ergot. And I hope I'm saying that right. But it turns out ergot is a fungus that if eaten, and they were eating the bread from the wheat, will cause hallucinations, delusions, mass hysteria, paranoia. It's actually a precursor. You can use it to create LSD. So you kind of put that in times with the witch trials and stuff. You have a whole community of people that are getting stoned on hallucinogens and then like pointing fingers at people. Dude, he's a werewolf. It's like, man, how out of control could that have gotten?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, that's an interesting theory because there's plenty of instances of mass hysteria all over the world, that not just the Salem witch trials and the werewolf trials, but I mean, China, Europe, or southern. I mean, we had mass hysteria that broke out in the South, the antebellum period here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they could have been having some tainted wheat.
I wonder, even though it was pre-internet, I wonder if news still traveled back in that day as well. What if it turned out that it all started in Europe in some farmer's field because a bunch of people started eating the same bread? They're basically having hallucinations. They start pointing fingers, and next thing you know, they're killing and burning people left and right, and then news spread out. And maybe everyone else wasn't getting stoned, but everyone else was at least going like, oh, well, he's a werewolf too, you know? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, there's always that guy in the neighborhood that nobody likes.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing that we do know is roughly around 1650 was when the mass population began to realize that werewolves don't actually exist. Belief in them prior to that, they absolutely believed 100%, you know, everyone, it was well-known knowledge. You don't go walking through the woods or walking through the moors because that's when the werewolves get you. But by about 1650, belief in werewolves kind of tilted out and died.
So starting with the Age of Enlightenment. You know what's interesting is, so we see a lot of this focuses around Europe, where we were talking about this earlier, wolves were a primary predator, so it kind of goes hand in hand that they would see that as a threat and use it in their local mythology. But not a lot. I haven't seen anything out of like the Middle East. I wonder if Middle East, I don't know, have you seen anything?
No, as a matter of fact, and I don't remember reading anything in my research either. I mean...
Yeah, there seemed a serious lack of lycanthropes there.
Now I know that if you go to Egypt, Anubis, which was a dog-headed god, there are a lot of scholars who believe that Anubis might be related to that deep ingrained idea of a part man, part wolf type of thing. And actually, Anubis would have then probably predated all the other earlier versions, because in the early days, the belief of the werewolf was that when a person transformed, they actually turned completely into a full-on four-legged wolf, rather than what we typically have in the movies today, which is the bipedal, runs around and grabs you with his claws type of wolf. And Anubis was definitely more the bipedal. So,
but did Anubis rip people to shreds? I don't know.
You know what? I would have to look more into that. I know that Anubis is the god of death, but I don't know if he actually killed people or if he just oversaw it and stuff like that. That's a good question, though. Maybe we should do an episode that talks about some ancient Egyptian ideas, because they were all about death, and that's pretty dark. Not a bad idea. So, all right, then we move to more of the modern day with pop culture, and maybe not so much pop culture, but let's talk about werewolves in Hollywood. A fun little note here. The very first film that actually included a werewolf was actually a movie called The Werewolf, and it was created in 1913. However, unfortunately, there was a fire in 1924 that burned down the warehouse, I guess, or studio or whatnot, that was holding all of the prints of that film, and so none of it exists. So the very first true werewolf movie, 1913, The Werewolf, unfortunately does not exist. Now, the first mainstream movie that came out was a movie called The Werewolf of London, not to be confused with The American Werewolf in London, but The Werewolf of London, which came out in 1935. And that was the first real big werewolf movie that came out. The most famous movie that actually was more well-known than that one was The Wolfman, starring none other than Lon Chaney Jr., another popular werewolf movie, I Was a Teenage Werewolf, starring Michael Landon. Those of you who are young kids right now won't know who Michael Landon was, but those of us in this room know him from A Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven. And
y'all know him.
Oh yeah, Tony's one of them youngins. In the 80s, 1981 was a big year for werewolves because in that one year, classic movie The Howling, Wolfen, and my favorite, American Werewolf in London, all came out that same year. So that was a huge year for werewolves. And I love American Werewolf in London. I just love it because it's got just enough comedy in it to make it fun. But it was made in a time when, prosthetics and special effects and stuff, they were really pioneering stuff. So that transformation clip, we were actually going to get that loaded up too, but I totally forgot about doing that. So now, I know you have it. I don't know if you remember it, but have you ever seen the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson?
I saw Airwolf.
No, different wolf. The movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson. I know I've seen it, but it's been so long, I can't remember if I liked it or not. So those of you who are watching, if you think I should watch it again, give me some thumbs up. If you think I shouldn't watch it, go ahead and give me like a crying face because I don't want to waste time if it's not worth watching. I just remember watching one of the special features. They talked about how throughout the making of that movie, they would constantly put images in the frame, like when he's in his bathroom getting ready, the tiles that were on the wall would represent like bars of a cage. And I think I watched it a second time right after watching the special features, and I realized that, as he's going more and more and transforming into the wolf, these little things are more and more prominent, that you're getting this feeling like he's a caged animal. So that was interesting. Other notable werewolf movies, Dog Soldiers, which I know that is a lot of people's favorite. Sam's never seen it. She's not into those. But if you want to watch a good film, Dog Soldiers, and I believe it's on Hulu right now because I just watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I love it. And then, of course, the Underworld series. And I will admit the Underworld werewolves are, in my opinion, like the baddest looking werewolves I've ever seen in a movie. They are so awesome. I've watched behind the scenes clips and stuff like that. I want to make a werewolf mask at some point, and I'm going to fashion it somewhat after the Underworld werewolves and stuff. So
Teen Wolf? You don't have Teen Wolf on there?
You know what? I just forgot to write it on here. I think because I wrote I Was a Teenage Werewolf, of course, Michael J. Fox and Teen Wolf.
I think that's the greatest.
Definitely much more of a comedy.
That's a scary movie I can handle.
Oh, yeah. That's so scary. I actually like the idea that he's born a werewolf and becomes a werewolf in puberty. And I love the scene when he's in the bathroom freaking out about the fact that it's got hairy palms and all that. And he opens up the door, and there's his dad as a werewolf, too. He's like, son, we need to have a talk. So, that's another great one and stuff. So, now last week we ran a clip from David Lady, and we've got another one because he did a review, and this is actually from a few years back. I think it's 15, it might be 11. It's a while back. So, but it's a great one, and we're going to go ahead and run this now. I don't know if this mask is still available. I didn't get a chance to research it and stuff, but we're going to run this review anyways because there's one main thing I wanted to talk about. So let's go ahead and run this Creepy Cheapies from David Lady.
Well, I don't care who dug him up. Somebody's got to rebury him. And it's going to... hello, good evening. Welcome to Creepy Cheapies, also known as Dr. Lady's Affordable Mask Pick of the Week. I'm Ralph Cramden, and tonight's mask is this one right here. You see this one? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that's just another werewolf mask. And it is, in a way, just another werewolf. But let me tell you what I like about it, okay? Now, first of all, this thing is, well, it's made by the strange individuals at the Chaotic Creations site, and I don't really know anywhere you can buy this except off of their site at the moment. So, if you want one, you need to look up Chaotic Creations Effects. C-H-A-O-T-I-C. Did I say that right? Yeah. C-H-A-O-T. Chaotic Creations Effects. And he's called Blood Moon. I think that's 2 words. Blood Moon. 2 separate words. Now, old Blood Moon here is, for all intents and purposes, just one more werewolf, and you're thinking you've seen it all before, but here's that thing that I like. Now, a lot of the bigger and flashier and more elaborate and more detailed and fancier high-dollar werewolf masks have the jaws wide open. Now that looks great if you're going to put it on a figure, like a static mannequin display figure in your attraction or your museum or your collection, and it's not supposed to be moving around. That's fine. But when somebody wears it, it kind of looks like the monster is going around going, "Ugh." And it loses its impact, because when something is sculpted with that expression, it's kind of captured in a moment, crystallized in a nanosecond, you know, a split second of activity with the mouth open to that exact degree. And you can't really wear those masks and expect them to look like much, because it's kind of silly when the mask has its mouth gaping open the whole time. That's why I recommend this one for wearability. And yes, there is such a word as wearability. I recommend this guy for wearing because his teeth are clamped together, okay? Now, in the first place, that gives him a very mean, angry, snarling, animalistic look. And I always like it when masks look angry. I like monsters who look angry when they should. I mean, there are some characters that don't need to look. But on the whole, I like monsters that look mean and angry and ticked off and intense, and like they have some real dramatic impact to them. And this guy has dramatic impact. Buckets of it. He's slopping over with dramatic impact because his lip is sort of exaggerated there in the way it's pulled up, pulled back, snarling like a dog, and his teeth are exposed, so you know he's got a mouthful of sharp teeth, but they're clenched together, and I think that's a lot better for wearing. If you wear this around and people see you at the haunted house or the haunted hayride or the haunted podiatrist or you know, whatever it is you're haunting, if people see you wearing this, it'll be okay if they see it for more than 1 second and with this expression, because this isn't frozen in a split second like an open mouth. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying about that? Why I like the expression so much? Now, here's a really strange thing about old Blood Moon here, and I don't know if you can see it on your monster monitor, but this particular copy is purple. It may not look purple, but it's actually purple. Not like a ridiculous, goofy purple, but it's kind of a plummy color. It's not very brown. It's kind of a brown with a bluish fur color. And, well, I don't know if they still make purple ones. I think most of them are just straight up brown, and I think they've done some silvery gray ones too. But in any case, the intense facial expression is what sells it. The drama of how really mean and angry he looks is what sells it. Now, it is full head latex. And by the way, you see this thing that's on here? This is a piece of wood, and this is a piece of wood. And this stand that I had him on, I stole this at Mask Fest a couple of years ago. But don't tell anybody. Thank you. Now, he's full head latex. So you can see how far the latex comes down. Let's take the stuffing out of there. Okay, and I had a piece of black felt to cover up the eye slits. The eye slits are right there, all right, above the eyes. And then he's got these really high gloss bloodshot yellow and red dramatic eyes. And as you can see, the fur hangs down beyond the latex so you can tuck it into your costume. So that's why I recommend this guy, not so much for if you're into exact movie replicas or the most high-end masks, but if you want one that you can actually wear and look good when you're wearing it, yeah, he's a good choice because he's so mean looking. That's all from us. So until next time, namaste. Yes, I said namaste. That's an ancient African word I just made up that means the spirit and the soul of my mask collection acknowledges and recognizes and respects the spirit and the soul of your mask collection. Thank you.
There we go. Sorry, I'm sitting here talking. You guys, I apologize for that. David Lady, Mask Wizard on YouTube. Be sure to look him up and give him some likes and stuff. He's done a ton of that stuff. So we will move on to talk about the Bray Road Beast out of Wisconsin. Now, this is a cryptid animal that has been spotted for many, many, many years. The earliest reports going all the way back to 1936. So, Tony, have you looked up some info about the Bray Road Beast?
I was just... So I had actually heard a lot about this before you had told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it looks like it's 6-7 foot tall. It's been conflated with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, large antlers.
Antlers.
I thought I saw antlers, but
could have
horns or something.
Yeah, could have been. The most notable sighting actually comes from 1989. That's what I dig about this, because a lot of times when you hear about these sightings, they're all from the 60s and 70s and stuff. But 1989 and 1990, that's a little bit different. Dorothy Gibson was driving along Bray Road. Now, Bray Road is roughly a 2-mile, kind of a single-lane road type of thing that's a shortcut between two places, two bigger highways and stuff.
Up in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, up in Wisconsin, and it's kind of a very secluded area and stuff, and it's actually called the Bray Road because it's the family name that owns the property that's around it is the Bray family. So Dorothy Gibson is driving along this road at night when she feels her passenger front tire hit something, and it actually hit something hard enough that she thinks she hit an animal of some kind. So she stops her car at night, gets out, and goes to try to take a look at it. Then when she looks at the road behind her, she sees this figure running at her car. And she described the figure as being like 7 foot tall and having a wolf head, but running on 2 legs. She jumps in her car and just goes to floor it. But this thing jumps through the air, lands on the trunk of her car. Now, it's a rainy night. Lands on the trunk of her car, but as she accelerates, it loses footing, slips off, and is gone. Some of the reports, some of the research I did actually says that it left claw marks in the trunk, scratches in the paint and whatnot. So later that same night, and this is the part that's kind of like, what, really? She goes and picks up a friend of hers because she wants to go back that direction, and she's explaining what it was that she saw. And of course, her friend's like, yeah, right, blah, blah, blah. And then supposedly going back down this same road, not far from where that happened, they spotted it again off the side of the road, and they got the heck out of there. So now, there's another report that came in after that report was made that someone else claimed that same night, however, earlier, they had also spotted it, but they didn't report it until word got out. So there's some controversy as to whether or not that was just someone trying to jump on a bandwagon, or if someone else did also spot it. But there is actually a woman by the name of Linda Godfrey, who's pretty well known in paranormal circles and in cryptids and stuff like that, who's written like 4 books on the Bray Road beast, and she really went into a lot of detail. I listened to a podcast, actually quite compelling to listen to some of the stuff that she's covered and some of the things that she has uncovered and stuff. But there are apparently sightings all the way up, the latest one being in 2017. So yeah, it's a big question about whether or not that is just hoaxes.
So has anybody commissioned a mask from you?
No, not yet.
So okay, we can rule you out, is it?
But you know what? Going back to the David Lady, I forgot there was a reason I wanted to run that clip. David Lady brought up a really good idea. I've had a couple of werewolf masks in my day, and he's right. They're always been sculpted with the jaws wide open, and I never really thought about that it does look kind of weird when you're walking around a haunt and the mouth is wide open. You are like, no animal does that. Werewolves rear open their jaws in a moment, but that always seems to be the way it's sculpted. So I mentioned that I do want to do a werewolf someday, and I will definitely get to it at some point. I am going to do mine with the jaws more snarling, lips curled and stuff. Not exactly like that one, but I think I'm going to do that just to be a little bit different. So, all right. Well, hey, you know what? We're going to talk about haunt venue etiquette, but before we do, we're going to have Tony do a fart jar drawing for everybody. So, Tony, if you want to grab that and mix them up real good. This one is actually going to be for a T-shirt of your choice. So you will get to go on our merch shop, pick out what design you like, and then let me know. Again, you have till tomorrow 8 p.m. to message me through the regular Facebook Messenger, not through the Uncle Monster site, just my personal one. And what do we have there?
Robbie Lavoie.
Robbie Lavoie. Cool.
I'm saying that right.
All right, Robbie. Robbie, you have till tomorrow 8 p.m. to reach out to me, and you, sir, will be getting a T-shirt. We even pay for the shipping. So we're going to go ahead and open up our phone lines now, because what we're going to do is we're going to discuss, if you want to call about werewolves and stuff like that, you can call about werewolves. If you want to talk about haunt etiquette, we're going to go over some general stuff with haunt etiquette. Just kind of open phone lines. Remember, if you do call in, you will get a chance to play Plinko. Oh, you know what? You didn't put the cards up there. So while I start talking about the haunt etiquette, Sam will make sure to. Oh, I didn't give them to her. I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm accusing her of things. So
y'all saw that, right?
Yes. We'll go over real quick. So we have got 5 entries in the fart jar, so you can get that. 5 entries in the fart jar, you can get that. 5 entries in the fart jar. So basically, you call, you're going to get entries in the fart jar. Or you might even get 10 entries in the fart jar. If you could land on getting yourself a free mug. We also have a stickers and magnets package. This comes with a bunch of stickers and magnets for your refrigerator. There is going to be 1 second try that's on there. So if someone hits this will be changed into a 5-ticket thing. It's only going to be used once tonight. And then, of course, there is a mask. And Sam, why don't you go to your camera real quick, because the mask is sitting next to you. That is Worm Food Deadite is going to be up there. So I'm going to hand these over to Sam. She's going to shuffle them up, and then she's going to put them up on the board just in case we get any phone callers that call in, because everyone who calls gets to play Plinko. All right. Now, Tony, you have never been to a haunted house, which is disgraceful, and I really want to change that this year. There are some rules that everyone should know about when going to a haunted house, okay? And I am seeing lots and lots of posts on the social medias about, these are the rules and so on and so forth. And I figure it's only appropriate for us to go ahead and talk about the rules here, because a lot of our viewers are haunt actors, which is awesome. A lot of our viewers are haunt owners even, haunt suppliers, or they're haunt visitors and stuff. So I've taken those rules and kind of just put some of the most important ones down. So the first rule is, if you're going to go to a haunt, rule number 1, don't be a dick, okay? Just don't be a dick. Here's the deal. You go to a haunt, and you're basically paying admission to go to a performance. That's what it is. It's a performance. It's a live performance, and it's an interactive performance. You get these people that walk in there like, oh, I'm not scared of nothing, and I can kick anyone's butt, and blah, blah, blah. No, you're not scaring me. You know what? There's no point in you even being there, because part of the whole point is to allow yourself to be scared, to allow yourself to have fun, all that kind of stuff. And, those haunt actors, they put a lot of work into what they do. That is their craft. And when you go in there with that kind of an attitude, you're not a tough guy. You're not impressing your date, nothing like that. You're being a stick in the mud, and you're really taking the energy out of the performance. So please, you're paying money to go in there. Have fun with it. Don't try to be the big old tough guy, okay? That's the biggest thing I'm afraid taking Tony, because Tony is definitely the kind of guy who goes around and just wants to start fights with everybody. So also, another thing is when you're walking through these haunts, keep in mind all these decorations and decor and all the stuff in there, that is all handmade art by these people. And a lot of times it's actually pretty fragile. There's a lot of things that are just made out of styrofoam or really lightweight stuff. So don't go in there and get all touchy-feely and start grabbing everything, because all you're going to do is destroy everything. You're going to break it. We did a haunt before, and we know that by the end of one night, stuff is destroyed, and it's just a mess. I can't imagine what it's like to do a haunt night throughout a whole season and have to repair stuff all the time. And I'll even say that I'm guilty of it, because we went to a haunt last year, and they had this cave that was human skulls. It was like a little cave, and it was about yay tall, and it just had human skulls like catacombs. And as I was walking through, I was like, man, this is really well done. This is awesome. I couldn't help it. I had to reach and touch one of them. But it was actually like resined over or fiberglassed over. So they were at least prepared for people to touch. But you never know, So best thing is just don't touch stuff. Another thing, too. Oh, by the way, did we open up the phone and turn it? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Another thing, too, when you are inside of a haunt, inside one of the mazes or whatnot, don't use flash photography on your phone. These actors have been in a dark environment. Their eyes are tuned to the darkness, and it's very important that they be able to see, because, believe it or not, even though they're there to scare you, they are also tasked with keeping you safe. And if you're going around with your phone and you're taking pictures and whatnot, and you're blinding them, you're making it so they can't ensure that you're safe, that you don't trip over something, all that kind of stuff, because they know the environment, they know what's there, and if you start moving in the wrong direction, they will break character to prevent you from hurting yourself. So don't use flash photography. Now, another one, and this goes out to all the Karens, not really, but just, the whole, hey, Karen, stop doing that. Karen, don't take your underage kids to a haunt that's known to be a scary haunt, okay? My rule here is know your haunt. Do some research before you go to them. Haunts can come in a lot of different flavors, okay? Some of them are family-friendly. Some of them are full-on kid-friendly. We have one that's a pumpkin patch that's just about a mile from here, and they have a haunt that's fully kid-friendly. Any grown-up that went through it would not be scared at all. There's nothing scary in there, but it's perfect for, like, your kindergarten, even through 3rd or 4th grade kids.
I think that's where I need to start.
Yeah, we'll start you out there, Tony. Know your haunt first. I think it's ridiculous that I see this every year. These moms named Karen who've taken their kids to a high-end haunt, paid $30 or whatnot to go through it, and then they're posting reviews online and pissed about the fact that their kids are traumatized. Yeah, you took young kids there. Now, a lot of haunts will do the no scare, like they'll have a glowing glow stick necklace, and the actors are supposed to not scare anyone that's wearing that. I think that's the biggest, stupidest thing. If you don't want to be scared, you shouldn't be at a haunted house to begin with. I mean, what's the point? That's like paying admission to go to an amusement park and not riding any of the rides. Okay, I just can't understand that at all. So know your haunt. If you're gonna take kids, take them to a kid appropriate one, and don't complain when your kids get traumatized. So. And then another one is be safe. So I talked earlier in the episode about the fact that I had an anxiety attack. And anxiety attacks can come on at any time, and they can be extremely serious if they're allowed to get out of control. There will come times when you find yourself in a haunt environment that is literally freaking you out way big. So here's the deal. If you are truly, absolutely freaked out, okay, the best thing you can actually do is raise both your arms, close your eyes, put your head down, and just hold that position. I guarantee you that within a moment or two, one of them haunt actors is going to see you, and they're going to realize that you've gone over the edge with being freaked out. They will come over and they will guide you to an emergency exit. All of these walkthroughs, they do have emergency exits and stuff. So putting your hands up, closing your eyes, tilting your head down, it's a good sign to let people know that you have reached your maximum and that you are literally in fear now. And so that being said, they'll help you out. So just don't freak out when that werewolf, puts his arms on you and starts steering you towards the exit. So just keep your eyes closed. And then most importantly, have fun. Don't go there drunk or stoned or whatnot. Save that for after. Go there, have fun, have a good time, all of that kind of stuff. So, well, that being said, I think we've pretty much kind of reached the end of the episode. We're just after 9 o'clock. So what do you think, Tony? When are we going to go to a haunt? You want to do that next weekend? Because we're off.
Yeah, we're not doing anything.
Sam's over here shaking her head.
We're going to the pumpkin patch one.
Yeah, the little kid one at the street.
No.
Well, there's that one that's up here that's in that old house or castle or something that I sent to you a while back.
Oh yeah,
Natalie. Yeah, I know it's within 45 minutes of us.
Yeah.
So we can check that out.
What we really need to do is, and it's tough this time of year to try to get Natalie. I'd like to get Natalie and whatnot. Get Natalie, TC. TC's wife, get Natalie's kid, Gabby, the one that they did the skull makeup on, and her boyfriend John. It'd be awesome to get the whole bunch of us to go. The problem is that they have got their bookings and engagements, and it's hard for me to do anything during the week. I really only have the weekends, because we work together and stuff. So, but maybe we can figure something out for next week, and I definitely would like to do something.
Could I just stand in the parking lot with my hands up?
No, you are the.
I have to go in.
She's the fun one at the haunt because she's the one that does freak out, hands up, head down, and guide me to the exit. Now she's the one that you just want to sit there and watch and stuff. So it would be a blast. So.
Well, what's the busiest time for haunts? I mean,
I bet tonight is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it? Yeah. Does it like peak right before Halloween or?
Well, yeah, right before the couple of weekends before Halloween are absolutely the busiest. I don't even know if by next weekend any will be open. There may be one or two that are still going to be open for the beginning of November because some of them will milk it for as much as they can. It's still worth going, but a lot of them, especially they probably will be open for November, just because of the fact that. We have the Halloween following in the middle of the week, so people will still be in the mood. So we'll figure something out. I'm not sure. So speaking of being off a week, and then we will be back 2 weeks from now. Again, that's going to be October 40th, November 9th for the rest of you normal people. We're going to be talking about zombies in that episode, which I think will be fun because zombies is another one that's a big favorite of mine. We'll talk about where zombies come from, the whole pop culture, all that kind of stuff. So, plus we will also talk about the first round elimination of Tournament of Terror for the movies. We'll see who beat out who based on your guys' results. So keep your eyes open for those that are going to be coming across on Facebook and stuff. In the meantime, again, thank you all for joining us. It's been a great night, great turnout it looks like. Hope you all have enjoyed the show. If you like what we're doing, don't forget UncleMonstersPlace.com website. We have a product store on there that's actually an Amazon affiliate link. If you go there and make purchases for your art supplies, your clay, sculpting stuff, we get a little bit of a percentage, and that supports us doing this show. We also do have a merch shop. Links for that are all in the description of this video. Also, make sure 1,000 Word Studios, 1,000 Word Studio, Natalie. Like I said, if you want to book her for getting some makeup done, and then, of course, follow TC Morgan as well. That show coming up on Halloween night. So, yeah, that's pretty much, I think, everything that we've got going on. So, until we see you again, hey, everyone, it is going to be Halloween, so be safe. If you're out driving around at night, remember there are trick-or-treaters out on the street, so go slow, keep your headlights on. Those of you that are out on the street, watch for cars. Don't let your kids dart across. I don't want to hear any bad news stuff. And generally just be good humans. So until we see you next time, stay scary, my friends.
You're still here? The show's over. Go create something. Go on.